Hi friends! Today for Fiction Friday, we're finishing up Chapter 5 in our ongoing book, Lad a Dog by Albert Payson Terhune. Lad has won the novice division in the Big Fancy Dog Show, but now he's up against all the winning collies for the prize. Will he be able to stand up to the seasoned competitors and champions and take home the trophy? Let's find out together. As always, the link to the ebook is in the description below. Chapter 5, Part 6, For a Bit of Ribbon. The day wore on. At last came the call for winners. And for the second time, poor Lad plodded reluctantly into the ring with the mistress. But now, instead of novice dogs, he was confronted by the cream of colliedom. Lad's heartsick aspect showed the more intensely in such company. It grieved the mistress bitterly to see his disconsolate air. She thought of the 3 days and nights to come, the nights when she and the master could not be with him, when he must lie listening to the babble of yells and barks all around, with no one to speak to him except some neglectful and sleepy attendant. And for the sake of a blue ribbon, she had brought this upon him. The mistress came to a sudden and highly unsportsmanlike resolution. Again the dogs paraded the ring. Again the judge studied them from between half-shut eyes. But this time he did not wave Lad to one side. The mistress had noted, during the day, that McGilliard had always made known his decisions by first laying his hand on the victor's head, and she watched breathless for such a gesture. One by one the dogs were weeded out until only 2 remained. Of these 2, one was Lad. The mistress's heart banged crazily, and the other was Champion Coldstream Guard. The champion was a grand dog, gold and white of hue, perfect of coat and line, combining all that was best in the old and new styles of collies. He carried his head nobly aloft with no help from the choke collar. His tulip ears hung at precisely the right curve. Lad and Coldstream Guard were placed shoulder to shoulder on the platform. Even the mistress could not fail to contrast her pet's woe-begone state with the champion's alert beauty. "Lad," she said very low, and speaking with slow intentness as McGilliard compared the two, "Laddie, we're going home. Home, lad, home." Home! At the word, a thrill went through the great dog. His shoulders squared. Up went his head and his ears. His dark eyes fairly glowed with eagerness as he looked expectantly up at the mistress. Home! Yet despite the transformation, the other was the finer dog, from a mere show viewpoint. The mistress could see he was. Even the new up-tilt of Lad's ears could not make those ears so perfect in shape and attitude as were the champion's. With almost a gesture of regret, McGilliard laid his hand athwart Coldstream Guard's head. The mistress read the verdict, and she accepted it. "Come, laddie dear," she said tenderly. "You're second anyway. Reserve winner. That's something." "Wait," snapped McGilliard. The judge was seizing one of Champion Coldstream Guard's super shapely ears and turning it backward. His sensitive fingers, falling on the dog's head in a token of victory, had encountered an odd stiffness in the curve of the ear. Now he began to examine that ear, and then the other, and thereby he disclosed a most clever bit of surgical bandaging. Neatly crisscrossed inside each of the champion's ears was a succession of adhesive plaster strips cut thin and running tip to orifice. The scientific applying of these strips had painfully imparted to the prick ears the dog's one flaw, the perfect tulip shape so desirable as a show quality. Champion Coldstream Guard's silken ears could not have had any other ideal shape and posture if he had wanted them to, while that crisscross of sticky strips held them in position. Now, this was no new trick, the ruse that the champion's handlers had employed. Again and again in bench shows, it had been employed upon the bull terriers. A year or so ago, a woman was ordered from the ring at the garden when plaster was found inside her terrier's ears, but seldom before had it been detected in a collie, in which a prick ear usually counts as a fatal blemish. McGilliard looked at the champion. Long and searchingly he looked at the man who held the champion's leash, and who fidgeted grinningly under the judge's glare. Then McGillia laid both hands on Lad's great honest head, almost as in benediction. "Your dog wins, madam," he said, "and while it is in no part of a judge's duty to say so, I am heartily glad. I won't insult you by asking if he is for sale, but if ever you should have to part with him—" He did not finish, but abruptly gave the mistress the winning class rosette. And now, as Lad left the ring, hundreds of hands were put out to pat him. All at once he was a celebrity. Without returning the dog to the bench, the mistress went directly to the collie man. "When do they present the cups?" she asked. "Not until Saturday night, I believe," said the man. "I congratulate you both on—" "In order to win his cup, Lad will have to stay in this inferno for 3 days and nights longer?" "Of course. All the dogs. If he doesn't stay, he won't get the cup?" "No. It would go to the reserve, I suppose. Or to—" "Good," declared the mistress in relief. "Then he won't be defrauding anyone, and they can't rob him of his 2 ribbons because I have those." "What do you mean?" asked the puzzled collie man. But the master understood and approved. "Good," he said. "I wanted all day to suggest it to you, but I didn't have the nerve. Come around to the exhibitor's entrance. I'll go ahead and start the car." "But what's the idea?" queried the collie man in bewilderment. "The idea," replied the mistress, "is that the cup can go to any dog that wants it. Lad's coming home. He knows it, too. Just look at him. I promised him he should go home. We can get there by dinner time, and he has a day's fast to make up for." "But," expostulated the scandalized collie man, "if you withdraw your dog like that, the association will never allow you to exhibit him at its shows again." "The association can have a pretty silver cup," retorted the mistress, "to console it for losing Lad. As for exhibiting him again, well, I wouldn't lose these 2 ribbons for $100, but I wouldn't put my worst enemy's dog to the torture of winning them over again for 1,000. Come, Lad, we're going back home." At the talisman word, Lad broke silence for the first time in all that vilely wretched day. He broke it with a series of thunderously trumpeting barks that quite put to shame the puny noise-making efforts of every other dog in the show. "Ah, friends, Lad is so happy to be going home. I am happy for him, and for his masters to learn that winning dog shows isn't everything. A happy puppy is. I know just the trick that Lad's mistress used to perk him up during the judging, though. She said, 'Home, home,' to get him excited, remember? When my mommy takes photos of me and she wants me to tilt my head all cute like, she says, 'Daddy, where's Daddy?' 'Cause my daddy is my favoriteest person on the planet. I guess this is just a thing that puppy mommies do." Well, thanks for joining me for this chapter of Lad. I hope you'll also join me for my next Super Music Monday song, and then for our next Wiki Wednesday Safari Animal article. Thanks for hanging out with me today.